All right, come on, Jack. We don't, nigga. I don't know, bro. Don't ask me, bro. They gonna ask when the GTA server get back up, Jack. Nigga, I don't know, boy. Only thing I'm really focused on right about now, bro. I ain't gonna lie, chat. And this is me really keeping it a bean, bro. The only thing that I'm really been focused about lately, bro, is getting this content, nigga. Trying to post reaction videos every single day, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get some type of form of content out daily, nigga. Trying to get these clips out, nigga. Trying to get this, trying to get that. Trying to do this, trying to do that. That's the only thing I've been worried about, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shooting these movies, bro. I got a $1,500 camera, Sony camera. I'm trying to shoot these movies, gang. I got a lot of stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? So, when niggas really be asking me, Dre, what happened to this? What happened to that? Nigga, I don't be knowing. It be like the source that I got my information from, they fucked up. So I don't know. Don't ask me. Dre don't know. I don't know.
After Raheem's murder, Melly would seemingly lay low for over a year, but in November 2016, he would allegedly strike again. On the 26th of November, a mass shooting would take place inside a party on the 8800 block of South Exchange Avenue.
Oh, you know he know his stuff.
18-year-old Daquan Barnett, also known as Bankroll Q from Melly's 051 Young Money set, a shooting that also injured 5 others. The online rumors would later claim that the shooting was done by youngsters from the so-called Motown part of Chicago, a neighborhood that's for the longest time been associated with the Black P Stones. One of these youngsters, called Breeze, would later seemingly brag about the shooting on Twitter, but meanwhile, another one would end up losing his life less than 24 hours later. The following day after the fatal party, at around 2:03 p.m, 18-year-old Delvon Weston, known in the streets as Lil Del from the Folly Boys set, which is one of the many sets based in Motown, was sitting in a parked car on the 8800 block of South Marshfield Avenue in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
I ain't gonna lie, the way on how these like interviews and the way how I had like the way on how like they set up Chicago, I'm not gonna lie, nigga, they set it up well, nigga. Like they placed like the titles of like the hoods, nigga. They place it so well. I gotta say, like, I love that nigga. I love that nigga. I love that little nigga. Like I love the way on how like if they were to show like a Chicago map, like they break the map off to like who owns this section and what this. I love seeing that. I don't know why.
When a dark-coloured SUV would pull up next to him and someone would open fire, hitting Del several times in the chest. And while he was reportedly able to drive himself to the Christ Medical Center, he would ultimately be pronounced dead at 2:22 p.m. Only a few minutes after Del was pronounced dead at the hospital, 051 Melly would hop on Twitter, simply tweeting, "I'm at army alone," followed by "right back," as if he was celebrating a successful get back. This was followed by a tweet saying, "Finna go change my clothes," that he would post together with a video showing himself sitting in a car while talking to a person who would show a gun to the camera before seemingly saying how they had got someone or something.
No, you a little yeah. No, you a bite him. Oh yeah. We got them. Now what top about? When? Last time.
When you gotta get your girlfriend, you gotta be faithful, bro.
I got a girlfriend.
You gotta get like me. You gotta get like me. You got
girlfriend on the I'm out of that though, G. What's wrong?
The person who Melly was talking with was a little-known face in the drill scene at the time, but he would later become known in connection to Lil Durk's murder for hire allegations, as this person would turn out to be none other than Stephon Mack, who would also be eventually killed in 2022, allegedly as a retaliation.
Suspect of funding murder of Stephon Mack seeks jail release in another. I hate seeing his face. Like, what the fuck? Like, man, I gotta block his shit off when I'm reading this type of shit. I don't know. That's
for the
like
murder of Lil Durk's brother.
We gotta move on. Hold up. Whoa.
Higher allegations, as this person would turn out to be none other than Stephon Mack,
I hate
who
seeing
would
his
also
face, though.
be
I don't know.
eventually
There's
killed in
something about that
2022,
face. Like,
allegedly as a retaliation for the murder of Lil Durk's brother D-Thang. But later on, Melly's other friends would also often make posts on social media implying that Del's murder.
Oh, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I always wanted to watch like a slim documentary about 051 Melly, bro. Like the way how niggas, like, I ain't gonna lie, like coming from a nigga that like nigga, I grew up around them times. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I'm not knowing on what's going on. You feel me? Like I'm probably like 4, 3, you know, like 5 at the time. You get what I'm saying? So me, I'm living. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing me. You feel me? Whole time, this nigga's like 051 Melly that's telling kids, yeah, nah, I'm the type of nigga that when your parents go inside the dark, I'm the nigga that's waiting in the dark for them. And then once I get them, they ain't gonna never come back. Whole time, that's whole time. It's niggas out here telling kids that. Niggas ain't never told me that though. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I grew up around these times, but I wasn't like aware of like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going on. And this is when like, you know, like the gangster disciples and then the black disciples, this is when like stuff was really like more about that. Now my generation, I know almost everything about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But back then though, it's just like, bro, like I was clueless, nigga, and it was just like niggas was getting smoked daily. I mean, it's dangerous now. I find it a way more dangerous now. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Murder was connected to the death of Bankroll Q, and that Melly had in fact had something to do with it. But besides tweets, the murder of Dell, like so many of Melly's other alleged bodies, is only based on online rumors and theories.
The murder of
However,
DeAndre
in
Smith.
2017,
Say
Melly would
goodbye.
allegedly commit a murder that would almost get him caught. On the 13th of June, at approximately 10:30 p.m.,
Dre.
residents on the 5000 block of Drexel Boulevard would report gunshots, and in the building's gangway, 22-year-old Dandre Smith was found lying dead, his body riddled with bullets. The investigators would eventually learn that Dandre, known in the streets as Lord Dre, was a friend of 051 Melly, and on the day of his death, he had been asked by Melly to participate in the robbery of a drug dealer. However, this robbery plan was allegedly just a ruse to get Dre to meet Melly, who he might have known deep down was out to get him, as Dre would allegedly text his brother to let him know that he was with Melly in case something happened to him. Melly and a woman named Tiara would then allegedly drive Dre to the building on Drexel Boulevard before Melly would shoot him in the gangway. But why would Melly kill somebody who had supposedly been his friend? Perhaps they'd had a falling out recently, or perhaps for a much darker reason. Because if the investigators are to be believed, the reason had a much more sinister explanation, as Melly had allegedly learned that there was a $12,000 bounty that had been placed on Dre's head, which was money that Melly needed to bond out his brother Wu, who had been arrested 2 days earlier on weapons charges. In fact,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. This nigga Melly was a fucking demon, bro. He really was like a one-man army all by himself. I think he died by getting like gun. No. That was I thought. No. Melly died at a party. Yeah, Melly went to a party. He got killed at that party. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like this nigga, like he gotta be like one of the most slimiest niggas. Like look at him. Hold up. When this picture come up, I'm gonna tell you how to look at
Wu
him.
would even allegedly have poorly disguised coded conversations about the murder plot on recorded phone calls while Wu was still in jail, while a witness would tell the investigators that Melly had tried to claim to her that it was THF-46 who were trying to kill him and Dre, and that both Melly and Dre had money on their heads, and that it was only a matter of time before one of them would kill the other to claim the bounty. However, at the time, the police simply didn't have enough evidence to hold Melly on these charges, and while they didn't know it at the time, before they could ever capture him for good, it would already be too late, both for Melly
They trying to keep that demon locked down. Free my boy. Don't
and
free
his next
him.
victims.
What do we free him for? Ronald Crump. Ew.
At the end of 2017, Melly's good friend Mubu Crump would be released from federal prison after he'd been locked up for about 2 years, and he would get back onto the streets and online and do what he does best: troll, even dropping a song dissing Dirk and his crew titled OTFK, where he would diss numerous gangs and sets like THF-46 and Lamron, as well as dead people like Newski and Chino. Crump would keep disrespecting his ops, perhaps thinking they had all gone Hollywood together with Lil Durk, but unfortunately for Crump, there were plenty of his enemies still left who were willing to show him that he wasn't the only tough guy in the city, and that even having a top shooter like Melly around couldn't save him. In the early morning hours of May 25th, 2018, Crump and Melly were attending a party on the 6800 block of South Morgan Street, only a few blocks away from Lil Durk's Lamron set's hood. While Crump, whose real name is Ronald Crump, was standing outside the party with another man, a car would drive by and someone inside would open fire, striking both. Crump would pass away from his injuries, but the other man would end up surviving after a surgery. Now, there's been many rumors about that second victim, with many claiming that this person had in fact been Melly himself and that he had actually been the main target. But while Melly seemingly was in the party, he would deny having been the second victim while on an Instagram live with Dirk's good friend and OTF affiliate Bezu from THF-46.
If I was there, it wouldn't go on. If I was there, it wouldn't go on. You could say one person, and I wasn't there. I was in a bush.
Lying, bro. You know I know you lying.
What situation? Just say one person. I was
no,
there.
bro, we getting recorded, bro. You know that. I'm not gonna say no name. You know what's going on.
I just told you I was that one person. And what was I doing when it was going on? I was fucking running to gunfire.
Yeah.
I ain't no stupid.
Super Sable, right?
You heard me saying to you, I'm real smart. You even told me I'm not no idiot.
The police report on the shooting would also note how the second victim had no gang affiliations or previous arrests, and the victim's age would also be reported as 28, while Melly was only 26 at the time. But whether Melly himself had been shot or not, he was looking to avenge his good friend's death. And while nobody would be arrested for the murder, if dissing was anything to go by, Melly would certainly have no problem deciphering who had been behind the hit, as people connected to Lil Durk's OTF crew were quick to start rejoicing over Crump's death, with everybody from Lil Durk to Bezu and even King Von, who had only recently returned home after beating his own murder charges, would participate in the dissing. Bezu would seemingly even later imply that the police had come looking for him after Crump's murder.
Hey, look, the Crump woofing at me on the internet. Somebody smoking, they come get me. You finna do the same.
However, one of the main suspects that the online sleuths have attached to Crump's murder is actually Lil Durk's childhood friend, Lil Steve, from his own Lamron set, who actually many consider may have been the actual triggerman. Durk's fans have even considered these lyrics from his popular No Auto Durk song.
I know him.
From September 2018 to be an admission that Steve was actually behind Crump's murder, with Durk rapping that the ops can't have a party on.
I know Steve. Growing up, he used to Lil Steve, he actually used to pass out money and shit to like the little niggas. For some of you niggas that probably just don't know, I used to live in like Inglewood and shit, right? Nigga, yeah, I know Lil Steve. Yeah, I know him. Yeah. He used to, when me and my brother, when we was younger and shit, I remember he had gave my brother like $100 and we used to ride our dirt bikes and we used to see that nigga up there at the hostage store. You know what I'm saying? Like, we used to see him like just driving around. We used to see that nigga on 72nd, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, I know Lil Steve.
On their block if Steve was out there. But before Melly would get his revenge on Durk, he would allegedly finish another job that he had started a long time ago. On the 19th of August, only a few months after Crump's murder, 19-year-old Tyrone Marshall was hanging out with a friend on the 4000 block of the South Calumet Avenue in the Bronzeville neighborhood. Tyrone, known in the streets as TY, was also known as an aspiring rapper, but Melly would have a more personal connection with him, as TY had been a friend of Lil Del, whom Melly had allegedly killed as revenge for the murder of his friend Bankroll Q. Moreover, TY had allegedly been present during Bankroll's murder. At around 3:27 p.m, while TY was leaning on a car and talking to his friend, another car would pull up, and someone from the inside would fire shots, hitting TY in the head, and he would later be pronounced dead at the hospital. Interestingly, this time, a witness would actually recognize Melly as the shooter, but once again, the police would be too slow to act, and before they were able to gather enough evidence to catch Melly, it would already be too late. Even with the most conservative estimates, Melly had now gotten away with several murders, but he wasn't done with his revenge campaign before he would get back for the murder of Crump, and only about 2 months after TY's murder, he would get his opportunity.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. It's so funny in Chicago, bro, because niggas be like, damn, like, I wonder how can niggas really be up 10, 15 bodies, bro, because our police just don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, bro, like, and especially in today's age, for, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, the police in Chicago done got so severe, nigga, that it's genuinely, like, the police is scared of us, nigga. It'd be like, boom, right, police jump out on you. Damn, that was my ring light. Look, it'd be like, boom, right, police just jumped out on you, right, boom. The minute that they hear that switch, that brrr, they get back. Nigga, that, like, I'm talking about, like, they flee the scene. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, that's all they gotta hear, bro, for them to leave the whole premises. Nigga, that's like if a ghost was in your house and you say, hey, ghost, give me a sign. Boom. As a black motherfucker, you gonna leave. As any normal motherfucker, you gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? So, in that sense, that's exactly what our police is, bro. So, how niggas be up 7, 8, 9, 10 bodies, bro? Because our police is so sloppy, gang. Like, the police is so severe, bro. No bad.
On the 8th of October, Lil Durk's big brother and manager D-Thang was out in their hometown with some childhood friends, including Durk's cousin Baby D, real name Darnell Banks. In the early morning hours, they were driving in the Pullman neighborhood on the far south side. They would reportedly be at a parking lot of the McDonald's when somebody would open fire at them, even hitting one of the windows of the restaurant. They would pull off with their car, but would eventually come to a stop on the 11200 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue, where police would find 3 of the men suffering from serious gunshot wounds. D-Thang was one of the people shot, but he would end up surviving, but unfortunately Baby D wouldn't be as lucky. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he would tragically pass away hours later. Baby D's murder would be yet another unsolved murder, but online theories have connected Melly to the incident based on 2 main pieces of circumstantial evidence. First, a photo would circulate online of one of Baby D's cousins wearing a Long Live Baby D shirt with an F Melly print boldly placed on the front, together with a picture of Melly. This showing that people close to Baby D indeed certainly seemed to consider Melly to be responsible. Moreover, after Melly was killed, D-Thang would reportedly share an Instagram story that seemed to celebrate.
The ops be talking all this crazy shit for what? They know how we believe. For real, for real. I'm not the toughest person in the world. But anybody that ever did anything to me. See, look, I don't like shit like this, bro. Because it'd be like, bro, come on, gang. It'd be like, if you know the nigga that had killed somebody after a nigga just went on a whole killing spree, why are you taking, like, you act like you was the nigga that pulled the trigger. Bro, they say that 051 Melly, bro, died from a random nigga at a fucking party. D-Thang didn't kill that nigga. You know what I'm saying? D-Thang probably wasn't the nigga that killed that nigga, yo. D-Thang probably knew the nigga that probably killed him. But D-Thing didn't kill that nigga, yo. So it just be like, bro, he doing and saying all this, but it just like, did he kill him? Was he there? He wasn't even there. You know what I'm saying? So it's, bro, it's shit like that, bro, that really kind of be like pissing me off. Cause it be like, bro, niggas be like, shh, no, bitch, there is no shh. You didn't do that. Stop. Stop. What are we doing?
Rate Melly's death while implying that anyone who had ever done anything to him had died. He would also tweet after Melly's death how any op who had ever shot at him wasn't here anymore to tell the story. Baby D is often considered to have been Melly's final victim, and unfortunately for Melly, before his life would come to an end, he would have to experience yet another major loss on his side of the war.
He only lost 2 people.
January
a lot of niggas lost a lot of niggas.
Friend Motor, real name Wilbert Morris, was driving with a friend called Side, real name Marcus Clark, on the 5000 block of South Indiana Avenue in the Bronzeville neighborhood, when someone would open fire at them shortly before 1 p.m, hitting one of them in the chest while the other one in the face, killing both at the scene. Motor and Side were from Jaro City, a set who were at the time very close with 051 Melly's 051 Young Money set, the two even sometimes going by the connected name YM Jaro. And personally, Motor was one of Melly's closest friends, his death clearly being one of the toughest losses that Melly had faced in the streets, with Melly swearing that one day he would make those people responsible cry like he had. And once again, if dissing was anything to go by, the usual suspects close to Lil Durk's OTF would begin taking shots at Motor and Side. This time, OTF's younger generation would take the charge, like the rapper Moowop, who would preview a song on his Instagram where he would diss FBG Duck, whose murder he would eventually be convicted of being part of, as well as dissing both Motor and Side with a slick double entendre.
The death of 051 Melly.
No doubt, given enough time, Melly would have claimed yet another victim to avenge the murder of Motor, but given the amount of havoc and destruction that he had caused, even Melly himself likely knew that his days were numbered, or perhaps he didn't, because during his Instagram live with Bezu, Melly would proudly claim that he was never going to move out of Chicago, and that he was going to live until he was 100, with even Bezu giving him credit for knowing how to move in his hometown.
I'm gonna move to Mexico, man. Start a new life, bro. I'm scared.
Oh, no, I ain't never moving out of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I love it here.
Make it here.
You said make it here.
Sure.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it to 100 years.
Sure.
I'm gonna be one of the last ones standing.
Yeah, you know how to move. Duck that taco.
Nah, I ain't ducking my taco. Just say you said it right the first time. I know how to move. I ain't ducking my
You know
taco.
how to move. Right, I'm gonna give that to you.
Perhaps Melly could have ducked his main enemies like the OTF until he was an old man, but the problem was that Melly had made so many enemies that even he probably couldn't keep count of them all. And so, on his last day, Melly would be right where he was comfortable at, attending a party in the hood of Jaro City, only a few blocks away from his main enemies like 600 and O-Block. As mentioned, Melly was close with Jaro City, but unfortunately, he had also made some enemies amongst the set, because according to later police reports, a witness would reveal that Melly had shot up the house of a Jaro City member called Lil Daryl, real name Daryl Rhyme, which was possibly a retaliation for the fact that Daryl might have been telling on Melly in the murder investigation of Lord Dre. These events would lead to a fateful moment in the party, where Melly would allegedly run into one of Daryl's friends, called 007 Nate, just as one of the partygoers was filming a video, capturing the chilling last moments of Melly's life on camera.
Man, I just killed y'all.
The police would later check the security cameras of the building, seeing that 007 Nate, real name Nathaniel Hicks, had arrived at the party around 12:30 AM, and at one point he'd even posed at one of the security cameras with his gun, before then allegedly shooting Melly at around 2:40.
Looks at the camera as if he was posing for a picture with the gun. Oh, these niggas is too menacing for me. They look at the camera, go, yeah, boy, I got that bitch on me, boy. Niggas do that now, but it's a difference though. Back then, nigga, we just doing that face out. Nigga, I seen the whole whoop, folk. You know what I'm saying? Fool them didn't even have a face. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he didn't even have a mask. You know what I'm saying? That means he looked at the camera, smiled. Yeah, boy, I got this bitch on me, boy. And kept it pushing. Oh, nah. See, look, he wanted to go down. Look, he wanted that shit to happen. You know what I'm saying?
5 AM and then running out of the building. Nate would then be identified as the shooter by multiple witnesses, and he was eventually even caught a few days later with the murder weapon still on him. But despite all of this evidence, the state attorney's office would ultimately refuse to prosecute Nate due to the witnesses' refusal to cooperate. In the end, just like Melly had seemingly escaped justice so many times due to the no snitching code that rules the streets, ultimately this code would also make sure that Melly's family wouldn't be receiving any closure after his death. And no doubt, considering how much the Chicago police knew that Melly was terrorizing the streets and taking people out, perhaps there there was some sick satisfaction for the cops in just not making an effort to get justice for one of the city's most demonic killers. Ultimately, 051 Melly left one of the most shocking legacies in the streets of Chicago, a certified gang assassin bordering on serial killer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. Damn.
With at least 8 rumored murders attributed to him online, and perhaps even more that the internet doesn't even know about. Melly didn't rap a single lyric, but he became famous off the back of his
Melly got shot in the party, started Harlem shaking. Damn.
reputation that echoed through the lyrics of more focused and famous Chicago drillers who survived and made music. His dark legacy lives through these songs, the IG posts, Reddit posts and comments, and YouTube documentaries, painting him as the so-called gravedigger of Chirac. But at the end of the day, Melly's story is truly one of a tragic waste of life. What did he really achieve? There's nothing cool or fun about terrorizing your community and taking the lives of promising young people who could have all been doing something better with their time. Melly was clearly terrorizing Lil Durk and the OTF and the THF crews, and while it was other people who ultimately had the last laugh, there's no winners here. There's nothing cool about being the biggest demon or the biggest killer from your neighborhood. And despite his fearsome reputation as an untouchable killer who everyone was scared of, supposedly knew how to move, Melly winded up getting touched too, getting caught lacking and losing his life in an incredibly unremarkable way that was far from heroic. So, if there's a lesson from this story, it's that there really are no winners in the streets, no trophies for being a top killer, just a shortcut to an early grave, and a very big list of sins to answer for when you do reach whatever comes after life.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That was a WS fucking interview, bro. And if I had to get that nigga a fucking round of applause, shit, I fucking would, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. Hey, listen, interview couldn't be no better, brother. You know what I'm saying? Interview couldn't be no better. I fought with that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, like, he was really spending though, bro. It really ain't no win or lose. You know what I'm saying, folks? It just be like, now that somebody done killed Melly, now 9 times out of 10, folks, fooling them that end up kill Melly, yeah. He either locked up or somebody already done killed him. You know what I'm saying? So, ain't really none that really come out of this, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Long live everybody though. You feel me? You know?